Your call is important to us and will be answered by our next available. Call transferred to first response. All of our administrators. Please continue to hold.
Yes, hello. Can you put me through to Vicina Brown, please?
Yes, are you calling in regards to yourself?
No, I'm calling in regards to my brother, Mr. Talib Hussain.
What's his date of birth?
15/9/1960.
And can I take your name?
My name's Shazad Hussain.
I won't be a moment, thank you.
Okay. Yes, hello.
Hi, I'm unable to get through to Vicina at the moment. I can send a message for her to return your call.
Yes, unfortunately, I've left several messages last week for her to contact me, and what I'm told is that she's aware that I've rang, she's busy, she's in a meeting, and she'll get back to me. No, unfortunately, nobody has done.
Okay, because I've tried ringing her mobile and she's not answering, so I got through to her duty number. She's not putting me around at the moment.
You got her GP number?
Sorry?
What did you say? You got her GP number?
I said I got through to the duty number.
Oh, sorry,
And
duty.
she's not around the office at the moment. So all I can do at this moment of time is leave her a message for her to return your call.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do that. And secondly, can I ask you to put me through to Dr. Gail Smith?
Yeah, sure, will be a moment. Thank you. Miss Secretary, how can I help?
Yes, hello. Can I speak to Dr. Smith?
I'll have to send her a message.
Because I keep on sending her emails and messages.
I know.
And I'm not hearing anything back, and it was quite imperative that I managed to speak to her because I was looking to arrange some leave for my brother because it's his birthday coming up this weekend, and it's just very, very unfortunate that nobody's looking to engage me, considering now that I have been acknowledged as the nearest relative. I think, but there's been a whole host of issues in the past in order to sabotage and undermine my nearest relative status. And now that that's been established, that doesn't afford me any great benefit because the doctor's still not looking to engage with me.
Yeah. When would you want the leave?
Yeah, it would be on the 15th. I have emailed her on the 15th of September because I made Vicina Brown, somebody who works closely with Dr. Social worker with Talib, explaining this. Even the last time I spoke to him at the end of August, that my brother has certain rights, and one of those is to spend time with his family, particularly on his birthday. Considering that they refused to even acknowledge the fact that he had a right to come home for Eid, which is a religious festival. So I'm really at a loss of what to do other than just continue to ring up.
Yeah, I know. I honestly understand how you're feeling. But like I say, so the message today would be that you're requesting leave for his birthday, and it's just for the one day, so it's just for the 15th.
Yeah, it's not. It's just going to be during the day, so it'll be. We'll be looking to return him by 8 o'clock in the evening.
So during day to return.
Yeah, the same day. It's not an overnight one we're looking for. We're just looking for for a day release. I just need to know because obviously I'm either going to have to prepare for his birthday party or or not. I don't want to go through the expense of preparing everything if if there's going to be stonewalled or blocked and he's not going to be coming home. I don't want to go through that expense.
What are you doing for his birthday?
Obviously I have to get him a birthday cake and arrange food arrangements and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it is a family occasion, yes. I mean, obviously, my mum's not seen him since he was taken.
Yeah.
And she's not, she's 80 something years old. She misses her son, and she's not had she can't leave the house because of her condition. And it's just simply unfair because they took him on the 3rd of August and they can only contain him for 28 days, and then on the 28th day they tell me that they're gonna go to the court to remove me as the nearest relative. Well, for the first 27 days, you refused to even acknowledge me as the nearest relative. The day that the previous day, the day that you acknowledged me as the nearest relative, you asked me questions like, "Oh, are you going to object if we continue to keep him here?" And I said, "Of course I'm going to object because he doesn't need to be there." And the very next day, you say, "I'm going to take you to court and remove you as the nearest relative because you're objecting." That just simply doesn't make any sense. I have a right to object in my brother's best interest. The doctor, Dr. Smith, seems to think it's okay that my brother can be detained in there indefinitely. I'm sure you wouldn't like to be detained in there like this. And when I say you, I don't mean you personally, but anybody else. Nobody wants to be detained there if they don't need to be. The law gives the doctor the right for 28 days to assess him, and he doesn't need to be there because his medication does not require any alterations. And my mum's not seen him. I've not seen him because they're making all these excuses up that he doesn't want to see us. There's been no abuse going on from the family's part. There has been issues of neglect, and that's clearly as a result of the local authority failing in their duty of care to him. And it seems that me and my family are being scapegoated to the detriment of Talib's best interest.
Yeah, I understand. I know how you're feeling. But like I say, all I can do is pass the message on.
Yeah, I understand.
So you understand that as well.
Yeah, can you tell me obviously who her manager is? Then if that's the case, then her conduct and behaviour. Clearly, I understand what's going on. My brother's been out in the community for a number of years. The local authority have been neglecting him. As soon as I've raised this and looked to whistleblow on it, I've now become the target on this. And clearly, Dr. Gail Smith is not abiding by a Hippocratic oath to look in the best interests of Talib, but looking to be undermined in her duty of care by her close association with the local authority who have a personal vendetta against me.
Well, we have been advised to give you that advice and complaints email. So if you do have any issues, obviously that's the route to go down.
Yeah, I know, but I'm already going down that route. And as soon as I go down the complaints route, just for your clarity, so you're directing me to the complaints. Yeah. All right. The complaints tell me that this issue is to do with the local authority, and they will be taking a lead on it. So once again, we're going around in circles as I'm being passed from pillar to post.
I think you're doing all the best that you can do.
Yes, I am. I'm trying my best, but it's when you're up against a system that doesn't work, or a system. I mean, for example, you're telling me to go to the complaints department. The complaints department are telling me to go back to the council. When I ring the council up, which I do every single day, just trying to speak to the senior management team, they say to me, the corporate management have advised that they are aware of my situation and they will get back to me. So basically it's bouncing me from pillar to post only to leave me hanging. I don't know how long that's going to be. That's not definitive. That's not going to say, Mr. Hussain, right, we've taken your complaint into consideration. We are going to look to comply by 14 days, 28 days, or give me something definitive. It's a basic situation of being passed from pillar to post, eventually just to be told, we'll get around to it whenever we feel like it. And in the meantime, every day that goes by is a day that my brother's having his liberty deprived from him unnecessarily, simply because of a financial agenda, number one. And number two, it's a conflict, a protracted conflict that I have with the local authority. Now, if I have a conflict with the local authority, what right does the health authority, or particularly Dr. Gail Smith, have in choosing sides? Her main focus should be the patient, and that's what she's paid to do. What's in the patient's best interest, rather than what's in the best interest of my colleagues whom I work with closely every day, and whom she's taking instructions from. So if this is the situation, like I said, I have been in touch with the most senior officer in your organization, which is Brent Kilmurray, which is the new CEO, and sent him emails. But it seems to be that no matter what I'm doing, it's all just meeting a blank wall. And you become very despondent after after a while, because you're thinking, what more can I do? And this is an exact same scenario that has happened to me in the past. So it's not a case that this is the first time this has happened. This exact same scenario happened with a second brother of mine, who then mysteriously died in the custody of the health authority. So, I was aggrieved about the fact that my brother had been killed in this manner in the past, only for it to be repeated itself today again in 2018. And this is simply not acceptable, and I don't know really who to go to. So just to end our conversation, I would like you to obviously take note of everything I've said, put it into your system, and liaise with, send Dr. Gail Smith an email, and also if I can have her manager's number, and I would like to speak to her manager, because this is simply unacceptable behaviour.
Yeah, I'm not actually aware of who her manager is, because obviously we are managed by different teams. So I wouldn't really be able to give you that number, unfortunately, because I just don't know who it is.
Well, can you tell me whom does know that information, and can I speak to them?
Who would know that information? Who would know? I wouldn't be able to tell you, not off the top of my head.
Okay, all right, okay. I'll have to make further inquiries regarding this. I've already lodged a complaint about both Dr. Gail Smith and Dr. Shamoon Sami for their failure to contact me. It's very, very degrading and humiliating when I'm ringing them up and they are basically looking the other way. It's a bit like, for example, I take your child into my custody, you're a mother, you're saying, look, what's happened, I want to know, and I'm like, oh, just ignore her. Right? Obviously, you're going to be frantic. You're going to be like, wait on a minute, you've taken something of mine, and I need to know what's going to happen, or need some sort of certainty and definitiveness. And they're just saying, well, now let her continue to call us up. I've got better things to do with my time than to deal with the incompetencies and malicious agenda by third parties. At the end of the day, my brother has certain inalienable rights. All right, and those are being infringed upon, and in order not to address them, what they're looking to do is take me to court and remove me as a nearest relative, just to put the local authority as a nearest relative. I sometimes think I live in some sort of, alternative universe. I mean, this is some sort of, what level of idiocracy is this? I'm his nearest relative, his mum's alive, he's got siblings that are alive, but no, the local authority feel that none of those people are appropriate except themselves.
Like I said, I can only take a message, and I am all the.
Okay, all right.
I do understand where you are coming from, and obviously, you have been left in the dark for quite some time now, and it isn't really right. But like I say, we're doing our jobs essentially.
Yes, but the problem is that it's not those who do carry out the function. Like, for example, the medical staff in a hospital, it's that are looking there to cure people. It's not them that I have an issue with. It's those that are sitting in their ivory towers in senior management that are making these very pertinent decisions that go against any principle of law or any principle of morality, simply knowing the fact that there are layers and layers that protect them. Because they live in their ivory little world, and they have no accountability. Alternatively, sorry, what did you say your name was? Sarah. Sarah, if you do something wrong, they'll be down on you like a ton of bricks. All right. If the people at the bottom do something wrong, they'll be like, "Oh, you haven't followed policy. You haven't done this, that, the other. Your job is gonna be threatened." But the reality is that when they do things, the senior managers, they don't get any accountability. I mean, it's a cushy little number. Sit there, get all the accolades of being in a position of power and prominence, get a stupendous pay package. All right. If you are to leave, you get a golden handshake, which is more money for the work that you've done, and just sit there and not do anything and make these nefarious decisions. And it's despicable, because ultimately at one end are the senior corporate managers looking to make these decisions, and at the very other end is me and my family, and particularly my brother Talib, who's suffering the consequences.
I know, like I said, I do understand where you're coming from.
I know, but I'm voicing off to you, knowing the fact that you're not in a position to help me because your job is simply to take messages. But I hope that you're in a position to at least record these things and make my views known, because the people that are making these decisions are putting their, putting their hands over their eyes, putting their fingers in their ears, and putting their palms over their mouth, saying that we see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. Yet they are doing evil.
Yeah, I mean, people are aware of the views that you do have, but like I say, in terms of these in-depth views that you do have, advice and complaints is the way to go. It's just not, it's not something that we take.
Yeah, I know. Look, I like you say, you understand. I understand your position as well. It's not you're not in the complaints department, but the complaints department is being hijacked and utilized for the benefit of not looking to address those situations. Let me look, Miss Sarah. Let me explain to you. Recently, I lodged a complaint regarding my bank. The bank, at the very first opportunity, rang me up, told me, look, we accept our mistakes. How can we compensate you? Because we accept that we've made mistakes. In the outside world, in the business world, when corporations make mistakes, the first thing they try to do is identify those mistakes and recompensate the person who's made the complaints, because they recognize that they've failed in something. Thus, in the private sector. All right. In the public sector, it's a totally different ball game. When you make a complaint, it's an opportunity for the public sector to identify what the complaint is about, so they can make excuses. All right, so they can look to find add delays. That's how the public sector complaints works. It's a nefarious thing, and I have ample experience of lodging complaints both in the private and the public sector. And whenever I lodge complaints in the public sector, I'm given some red herring, told that it's because of this, that, and the other, and just fobbed off. And ultimately, it just surprises me, because in the private sector, the only thing I'm looking to that's going to be damaged is my right to property. Here, the situation should be even more stringent, because it's somebody's private liberty. My brother is suffering as a consequence, as human suffering that's being caused directly by the actions of public sector decisions. Yet the public sector are passing me to the complaints department, which I'm fully aware of who the complaint department is, and they are aware of who I am, and I have lodged complaints only to be given a kick down the road on a string and told that, we will get back to you. And that's not happened. So I appreciate that you're not in a position to help me and you direct me to the complaints department. But I'm looking to, that's been exhausted as it is. And I'm being exhausted in my resources, looking to address something very simple. First of all, my brother should not have been taken into the hospital. He did not have his mental state was stable. Yes, there were concerns regarding his neglect, which was a failure of the local authority. So the local authority have failed in looking to support my brother in the community under their duty of care and under Section 117 of the Mental Health Act. So they failed, all right? And due to that failure, they have then looking to take charge of the situation and forced him to go into custody of the health authority, only now looking to put him into some sort of care home and where they have power over him. So they profiteer from their own neglect and failings. This can only happen in the public sector. If it happened in the private sector, if you failed, you get sued and you get taken out. A company no longer operates. As you know, many big banks or many big institutions have gone under and closed down. But not in the private sector, but not in the public sector. The public sector is some sort of topsy-turvy world where if you make mistakes, you profiteer from your own mistakes.
I understand where you're coming from, but obviously, I can understand that you've got very politically centered views and stuff. I just it's not my job to comment on them. I can't comment on what you're saying.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, well, what you can do is obviously let Dr. Shamoon Sami know, let Dr. Gail Smith know, and let Vasina Bryan know that I have contacted, and they should look to pull their finger out and look to make arrangements so my brother can only come home for just a day release. That's all I'm asking for. He shouldn't even be there because he's
already sent the email.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you much. And I'm sorry if I've come across as slightly perturbed, but as you can appreciate, this is a very sensitive matter, and I'm having to deal with the systemic incompetences of people that are not doing their job properly, and as a consequence having to endure and undertake the suffering of my family members.
I honestly understand the struggles that you have, and it must be very frustrating and stuff. But like I said, there's only so much to what an extent that we can comment on, especially in regards to all these views that you are expressing. Like it would be our job to engage.
Yes, but it should be, clearly it is going to be somebody's job. And so, and this is the reason that I've tried to speak to the most senior person, which is Brent Kilmurray, which is the CEO of the Bradford District Care Trust, who then keeps on pawning me off to the complaints department, who then keep on pawning me off back to the local authority, who then keep on pawning me off saying that it is with strategic management, we can't say anymore, and slamming the phone on me.
Yeah, I understand, but like I say, you know where we stand on it all.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, I think we've come to a conclusion of our conversation today.
We have.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Goodbye.
Bye.